Hello and welcome to the AM Club here on MX24. My name is Lebony Mensah. Thank you for joining us once again. If you're just joining us for the very first time, listen, this is the family we're inviting you to. It's the best morning show ever. Joe.
No, I'm called
I
Joe.
know you're ready.
I'm called Joe.
I'm gonna call you whatever name I want to call you. So you just
Everything,
you just have to be available to
everything.
respond.
You removed my glasses, so I want to put it on.
You want to put it on?
I want to put it on very well.
Oh, yo,
you know.
bro.
Now,
you are petty, Lola.
now I look ready for the show.
You're petty, Lola.
Anyways, in case you just tuned in, as Mimi would say, you made the right choice. Welcome to the show. Yeah, you have missed a bit, but we are now getting into the conversation proper. Yes, of course, definitely it's time for Lifestyle Daily, and it's time for us to recap, the interesting stories that have been trending over the past weekend, right from Friday till date. Let us just use this opportunity to say, on behalf of the AM Club, our condolences are going out to the late Honorable John Kumah's family. To the government too as well, and to anybody, in fact, the Jisu constituency for that matter, and then to anybody who has, been part of his team whatsoever. Well, our condolences going out to him. So, I mean, that's what we're starting off first on the show, and inside the studios, of course, we do have the man, Julius Kwame Anthony.
Honorable Julius. We have Honorable Julius.
Honorable Julius.
So this is Honorable Julius Anthony.
Yes.
Do you know Julius Deborah though?
Yeah, I know Julius Deborah.
Do you like him?
Yeah,
you think he's a good man?
Yeah.
Anything to say about him?
Well, he's been in long service to the country. He was chief of staff under President Mahama and has rendered lifelong service to the country. We can only commend him for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to say,
I don't have
right?
anything else.
It's good because anytime your name pops up, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, that's
It
interesting.
is. Anyway, so we're talking the death of Honorable John Kumah and all the controversies coming after that. So we've had conversations of, it's a big loss to the party, and these are crucial times. We've heard stories about how people are saying the stories being purported that it's been alleged that he was poisoned. The wife has come out to say that his husband wasn't poisoned. Again, from his PA or his aide, he talked about how he was heading to Germany to get some medical assistance. So people are asking for what exactly. But what do you make of the entire situation?
To lose a husband is a very unfortunate thing. Only her can truly know how she feels, but the rest of us can only imagine. But one thing I know for sure is that it's the most unfortunate, nightmares that any woman can go through. And for that matter, I commiserate with her. My sympathies are with her and her family. And the New Patriotic Party as well, I commiserate with them, especially the people of Ejisu and all that. But the Honorable John Kumah is a public official. And he was not only a member of parliament for the Ejisu constituency, he was deputy minister for finance, holding one of the most important roles in this country. And for that matter, there is public interest in what exactly happened to him. And as you have said, the wife said she does not know anything about any poisoning. But on the same death, we have heard Mr. John Kumah's own special assistant claim that his boss was poisoned. We have heard the special aide to Chairman Wontumi claim that his boss, as well as John Kumah, were poisoned. And we have heard Captain Smart also, level the same allegations. Whereas Mrs. Kumah is the closest person to Mr. John Kumah, and for that matter, in an abstract sense, her opinion on the matter should be what everybody should take. The person we are dealing with is a person of public interest. And if these claims from his special aide, who follows him to work, who, stays with him in the office and all those things, to the extent that I know the job of special aides to be about, and the special aide to Chairman Wontumi, all of them made these allegations, then a person of such public interest, there's definitely the need for us to investigate and go to the bottom of it. Whereas I would say that in an abstract sense, generally, people should take the opinion of a wife on this matter in relation to the husband. This particular husband is not just a husband. He is a man of public interest, serving as, Deputy Minister of Finance, serving as a member of Parliament. So if these claims have been made by his special assistant, the special assistant of Chairman Wontumi, and some members of the New Patriotic Party, then I think that there is the need for us to look into it beyond the fact that his wife has come to say that she knows nothing of the poisoning. And indeed, she herself, I was just listening to her on Asasi Radio when I was coming here, intimated that if these allegations are made, the husband, having served this country not only in his capacity as minister and member of parliament since his school days as a student, then there's a need for us to look into it. I think that I am of the same view that we must look into the poisoning issue beyond the fact that people are denying it. These allegations cannot just be thrown about without us getting to the conclusion of it.
But do you think it's the right time for her to be granted interviews? I mean, I'm just speaking as a woman. But
well, as I said, Dr. Kumah was not just her husband. He was a public official, deputy minister and MP. And so when issues of this nature come around him, you may want to look at it from that perspective as well.
Okay.
That, yes, it is in the interest of the public that we hear from the family. As difficult as it is, she has to given the circumstances. Yeah.
Joining us also is Mr. Reginald. How are you doing?
Hi,
I love this whole...
I try.
Is it Chinese
We
neck going on?
don't see the officer in stuff like this. We
You look
see
nice.
him in the suits a lot.
Yeah.
I try.
So
I
to have
knew
this
I was going to go and say Anthony, so I had to do
How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you. Anyways,
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. We're speaking on the conversation regarding Honorable John Kumah's passing. There's been so many conversations spanning from that area. The wife speaking. We've had a lot of other people also throw in their own side of the story.
Right.
What do you make of what's going on?
All right, so before anything, I want to say a very big good morning to yourselves and to your viewers nationwide, and also to thank you for the opportunity to be on set again. First off, I want to render my deepest condolences to the family of Mr. Kumah and the entire NPP. I feel like the NPP has lost a very good, intelligent young man who had a lot of potential in, helping the party thrive, of course. But also with the allegations that is being thrown around, I feel like in every grapevine there's some iota of truth. And so if more than one person have made mention of a poisoning case, then it is just right that we really take a step into investigating into it. And I wouldn't disagree or agree any much more to what Anthony has said. I feel like the government should take a keen interest in this, circumstances under which, and for me, I've read extensively, and he was already in Germany receiving health treatment, and I hear he was flown back home to come and join a military parade for Independence Day. If he's not too fine and he's receiving medical care, let's allow him get that medical care. Why fly him in?
down?
And definitely it's because of, maybe you say, to celebrate independence, but that is not the real case. It is because of maybe scoring some political points, which I do not think that we should prioritize that ahead of people's health. And unfortunately, the NPP have got track record of doing that. Remember, during the passage of one of the bills, they had to fly in driving an MP in an ambulance, which is like Adwa Safu was somewhere in the U.S. receiving mental health treatment and all of that. And I hear she was flown in to come and pass the E-levy. So the NPP has track record of doing that. It was not necessarily to fly in from Germany while he was receiving medical treatment to come to Ghana just to join a military parade that he even didn't end up joining in because of his health. And if through that now we've been able to hear news around poisoning issue which had happened about some weeks ago in Tamale, then it is just right for us to investigate and know what really is behind this. Not just one person, and the people that are making mention of this poison issue, it's not just like anybody like myself, These are people of high repute who will not just slaughter their integrity on any platform at all like that. And so it is very interesting that we take a very huge step into it. And I think his wife has also come out to say that, first off, she doesn't think it is poisoning, but if she ever thinks it's poisoning, then
Thanks.
the Captain Smart should be invited, and then be questioned on like
What
he
he
should also
knows.
provide answers because he said it way before his death. So we need to have answers to this. And this is not a matter of NDC or MPP. This is a matter of people that matter. And this should be investigated. Like,
do you think the passing of Honorable John Kumah will have a huge impact on the MPP and the elections 2024?
Well, it depends on how you look at it, because if as we speak now, if my perception of what the public opinion is to be correct, a lot of people do believe that he was poisoned. Looking at the nature and character of persons who are saying he was, and the circumstances they allude to. Because if you listen to Wuntumi's radio station, his special assistant was on that radio station to say that the Honorable John Kumah was in a poll, lead to be nominated as running mate to Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia as his running mate going into the 2024 election. And the issues around it, they went to the extent of claiming that there are certain personalities, a particular person that should Vice President Bawumia name as his running mate, they'll be grossly disappointed, which, in my understanding, is an allusion to, a certain claim that those persons may be responsible for his poisoning. If these conversations should gain root, then of course, I don't think that people will be willing to vote for a political party which is being perceived as killing, their own members. So it's may have an impact on the election. My worry is that should these issues just be thrown, under the carpet, as if they are not serious claims. If you have, Chairman Wontumi is a colossal character in the New Patriotic Party. He's a regional chairman of the MPP. His special assistant, who claimed to have rescued him, and these are claims he made publicly, said he rescued his boss on the night that they were poisoned. And it is around that same period, he said that Dr. John Kumah, his situation was not worse that night as compared to Chairman Wontumi. And so he thought he was okay. And he believed that was what led to his death. And so if these claims are made and, there is no effort made by the party to either make the public believe otherwise, of course, it's definitely going to have an impact on the election. And for me, I am personally very concerned about investigations going into this matter and conclusions being brought to them as soon as possible. We cannot have a situation in this country where members of parliament or political figures now go to, funerals or go to occasions and they are scared of taking water. You saw the video of the national organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Nana B.
And the national secretary.
And the national secretary. They didn't want to take water from anybody. And this perception of poisoning going on in the
Not
country
to even hold it. And
is-
that was my worry.
is-
I thought it was a,
like-
I thought it was a bit
Oh, I
petty.
mean, probably
because you
just
could have
take
just
it
taken it and put it down.
And put it down, not necessarily drinking it.
As in, you never know.
You never know. you never know.
As in, you
But
never know.
that actually even brings me back to, myself and, Lebanon on the show.
Yeah.
With we had that conversation and she was telling me about it. You take this water and I was like, oh, there's a hole in there, just a bit to you. And then she was like, we had a
No, you
serious
can't.
conversation.
Anytime I
I'm
come
big
here,
on
I
that
just
because
need
of
to
where
be
very
we
careful.
are in society and look at what
Yeah.
you guys do. It's so important. I'm saying this as a huge admonishment to us all. Let's not even play.
Let's not
You
play
just
with it.
never know.
No,
You
but-
just never know.
But like trying to play the devil's advocate, I feel like there are two types of poisoning, right?
Okay.
There's a deliberate one and the non-deliberate one.
Okay.
You can
Definitely.
get like poisoning from eating like contaminated food just by the street or whatsoever. And the food in question I hear was guinea fowl. And usually these guinea fowls are roasted by the
Yeah.
roadside, like,
Yeah.
I
with,
confirm.
with all of those skirmishes around it. And so just maybe it might be food poisoning, but not like a deliberate one.
deliberate
Which
one.
I am just trying to tackle myself to believe
Believe,
that.
yeah.
Because like from the premises Julius said, like there were so many reasons why somebody would be deliberately poisoned because of like the fact that there's been a poll and he's like kind of leading and people are not interested in that, so they would definitely want to. But to go the extent of taking somebody's life for just your
because of that.
political interest, I mean, it's very wild and very interesting. But yeah,
Okay.
who am I? We can only wait for an investigation.
I want to bring this up. Times a number. Okay, it's happened before. We've seen where MPs have, kicked the bucket, and their wives have taken over the vacant seat. Should this be in the case of John Kumah as well? Would you advise the wife to contend for that?
Well, honestly, I do not think it's a trend which should be normalized. At the end of the day, leading the country and having an interest in doing so is one that if you are truly interested, we would know for a long time from the kind of things you do, what you involve in and all those things. It shouldn't be the case that people's husbands died. Qualification by death of husband, I don't think it's something we should normalize in this country. Moreover, in the case of Mrs. Kumah, I don't know even if she is from Ejisu. And if for that matter she would qualify for it. But I mean, the mode of qualification is not only being from there. Being an ordinary resident of the place also qualifies you. So I don't know if, they are being together, she does stay there, or if her vote is there. If she's a registered voter over there for a certain period, she may qualify to contest the election. There are those qualifications as well. But generally speaking, if you ask me, I do not think that a person's spouse dying should be now a qualification for the person to be a member of parliament. Of course, if the person has the interest already and that sort of opportunity presents itself, however unfortunate it is, and the person takes it, fine. But by mere fact that your husband has died, and so the seat is given to the person, well, this situation has been existing, I think, since 2000. Yeah, it keeps happening. I don't think it's something we should normalize in our politics, especially with the situation of poisoning and all those things coming into the fore.
You don't want two people in the same family being poisoned.
If we normalize people's wives becoming MPs, we may have situations where very disgruntled spouses may start poisoning their
No, but it's interesting how
we shouldn't normalize
like usually their spouses die that they step in. Infantiman MP died through like an attack by armed robbers. Like this is a death that you not tag as a natural death. You know, and she stepped in and won the elections. Before coming here, I was already hearing news that she might be interested. That is why she started granting the radio interview.
Well,
You know, that is what I heard.
My
you
head
know.
is aching already.
Yeah, like
These are assumptions.
yeah, these are what is going on in the air, you know. But it shouldn't be a ground for which like spouses should step in and say they want to be MPs because they are their husbands or their wives.
I can agree with you,
back.
both.
You get what I
I
mean?
totally
Yeah.
agree.
It sets a
And
very
plus,
bad
again,
premises.
I'm sorry, but plus, again, that's the moment that someone would think that for someone you were married to, that's time to take out time to mourn them.
But this is you trying to continue their legacy.
But
So it's
that's a
all-
lot of work.
Yeah.
So which means that you will not have the time to honor this man. I don't think
Well,
it's right.
like-
as I said, that's why I said it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
Because there are some of the women who, are actually involved in the politics.
Yeah.
They are also politicians. Not merely that their husbands are into it and they are spouses to them. They are also politicians. They participate in activities of the parties and do all that. And then these events happen.
Yeah.
I could understand in such a circumstance where such a spouse will step in. But for Mrs. Kumah, for example, we know that she's a pastor. She has a church at, I think, Bawe or somewhere like
That's
that. People
Weja.
mention- Weja, yeah. So suddenly being interested in being the member of parliament for AG, so I think that would be quite curious,
Anyways,
Listen, I think I've heard this
I would.
one
I mean, anyway, let's just move away from
Yeah.
this. Well, may his soul rest in perfect peace. Our condolences going out to the family once again. And our next story would have to do with Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman being nominated as running mate to John Dramani Mahama in the forthcoming 2024 elections. I want to find out first of all, what informs this selection once again, because she was selected for the 2020 elections and now she's been selected again 2024. So what informs the choice from JDM?
Well, I wouldn't claim to be in President Mahama's head to know exactly what informed him. But if there is one thing that is certain, is that the nature and character of the person he has chosen demonstrates some competences which we can all attest to. I mean, we have this professor being the first woman to have ever become a vice chancellor in the whole of Ghana, not just the case of UCC, in the whole of Ghana. I mean, if men dominate an institution, I mean, these professors, very stoic in character, very conservative in their dealings, if they would depart from their ways of always electing men into that position and elect a woman, then it would mean that there is something that made the difference for them to make that choice. And Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman is the one to have that record. She has served as Minister for Education under President Mahama, where she has unparalleled records over there. I mean, she, through her intervention, readapted the national, the students' loan scheme, for example, to allow for new entrants to be granted sort of a guarantee system to enter the school, those of them who are unable to pay up front and all those things. All these initiatives that have been carried by her, I think that those things inform the choice. A lot of times when you hear people say that we should elect women into office, we should choose women and all those things, what I typically hear is that they are asking for a token, drop a token inside. Let's put a woman in the large ocean of men to say that we have included them and all those things. We do not hear people typically talk about the quality and substance that they bring on board.
Sure.
But in the case of Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman, you would see that, the substance over there. And leadership is not something which is new to her. She's not just being thrown into an arena which is completely unknown to her. From her youthful days, I think she was even head girl when she was in Gehe. All these things testify, to the quality of the person who is being nominated to run alongside with President Mahama. And I think definitely, even as I can see it, I'm sure President Mahama also saw it. That's why he made that choice. And I believe strongly that come 2024, she will be the first woman to take the oath as Vice President of the Republic. She has been the first in doing a lot of things.
She can lead it.
So in the year 2020, when John Mahama named Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman as his running mate, he made mention that he have 4 reasons why he's nominating her. She has been one of his hard-working ministers. Her integrity is unparalleled, her credibility, and her incorruptible lifestyle. So Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman does not just come into the field of just being a woman. Like Anthony said, she's a woman with substance. She's an academic that has got several scorecard. Her scorecard is like full with just good work. I can run you through her times as a lecturer before becoming an associate professor, before becoming a full professor, before becoming the head of the English department, the dean of the School of Arts. Then she became the faculty lead. Then before going in to become the first woman vice chancellor, even while at that, she was still the director of the School for International Training. Then she became the first woman who also became the chancellor for all women university in Sudan. So like her scorecard is full. She's got so much. It was just about a month ago that she handed over from being the first chancellor of African Women University. And so Prof. Nana Opoku-Agyeman has a very good career. And she's not just coming into the field of politics of just being a politician. And so young politicians watching and listening, like, pursue a career first. She's pursued a career, she's been successful within her career, and she's bringing it into the field of politics to make impact. Then you move on to even the times where she was in politics, the sort of things she's been able to do. If I should sit here and run you through what she did as a lecturer before, even from her national service times, when she was even a national service personnel, she was interpreting English for the lecturers and everything. So like the dream has always been big. It has always been bigger than her. She's always been doing phenomenal. This is a woman that even when you see her around, you think she's one of, like, she has a very youthful lifestyle. In the Ministry of Education, she initiated she started the free day senior high school. She built so many community day schools. She transformed polytechnics into universities. She transformed colleges of education into to doing degree programs. So her achievement in the education ministry is also like enormous. And so naming Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman for me didn't come to me as a surprise. Because I think that Mahama looking through her circle, looking through the NDC, looking through like who is going to help me take Ghanaians out of the NPP government and build the Ghana we want, it should be no other person than Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. And her contributions, and like Anthony said, come 2024 December 2024 and through to January 7, 2025, we are going to have the first woman vice president of Ghana.
Okay, there are conversations that have sprung up that if His Excellency John Dramani Mahama should come into power for, let's say, 4 years, and he's done, well, she would step into being the president And if she should step into being the president, considering her age, would she be the best fit for that position?
So, first off, why are we talking about 2028 where we've not even succeeded 2024, 2025? Like, now, what Mahama wants to do is within my 4 years left, I want to cause a difference. I want to, like, change Ghana. I want to bring Ghana back to the path of growth. And to help me do this is Professor Jenano Poku-Agyemang. So currently, she's the right person to help JM and help Ghana come out of the dead the NPP have put it into.
I think Ghanaians are
but
much
after,
more futuristic.
And it is also not automatic that when you are vice president, you automatically should become president. You know, and so people's assumption that, okay, she's being vice president, then after she's going to be president, it does not mean anything. It does not mean that because I'm vice president, tomorrow I should be president. That is why I think people like the Kennedy Japons didn't understand the reasons why Bawumia wanted to be president. Because you came in as a vice president to help Nanado to deliver, and you've delivered abysmally. And so you should step aside for somebody else to come. But you also decided that, oh, you want to be president. It is not automatic. Again, if after 4 years, after serving in government, she feels like she wants to be president, we are going to judge her and weigh her by her scorecard. What she's be able to do as vice president, what the sort of initiatives and projects and plans she's going to put out. And we'll look at the plans she has for the future. If it is something that we can associate to, it is something that will help young people get jobs, get placement, get whatever they want, then we are definitely going to rally behind her. We are not just going to rally behind her because she is a woman. We are going to rally behind her because she's a woman that has got so many to offer. And she has proven that. That is why we are rallying behind her now.
Now, on the same conversation, do you want to...
Well, you see, the point is that anytime we speak against elderly people being in leadership, the reason has not been because they are old. Only because they are old. Because for every man, that is our destination. You know, I would be seen as at 90 if God grants me grace. I would be seen at 77 like Prof. Jane if God grants me grace. So it is not an automatic disqualification that a person is old. Our problem has always been the direction the elderly people have been driving us into, especially because they take decisions that destroy our future. A future they are not going to live, because we know how long humans typically live. So we know they are not going to live that future. That has been our concern about elderly people being in leadership, not because they are necessarily old. So I do not think the conversation should be reduced merely to the fact that they are old. And we have seen a lot of people who are the oldest to have taken offices. Donald Trump was the oldest person to be elected president of the United States when he was elected in 2016. Biden beats that record, becoming the oldest person to have been elected president. Should he win the 2024 election, he will again be the oldest person to have ever been elected president of the United States. So even the democracies that we emulate are electing old people. The question then becomes, are they delivering? How is their age affecting the job they are doing? And so the consideration is not only about the age, it is about how the age affects the decisions they make. And do they make the decisions in the consciousness that they are going to live with it or they are going to be dead before the consequences of those decisions come? So again, as Reginald suggested, if after 2028 or in 2028, the NDC wants to elect somebody, and we think that, you know, Prof. Jane qualifies at the time to be elected as leader of the party, fair enough. And a lot of people say that the choice is bad merely because she's too old and then she will not be able to carry us into the future. The point is that we have a country which, as of now, our debt to GDP ratio is 106%, and it keeps going. Inflation rate is at 24%. That's what we are dealing with. We have what you call a living crisis in Ghana today. People cannot even feed in the country. We have a country that, as we speak, it is being managed by people who host tournaments and don't have equipment for the athletes. These are the situations we are dealing with. And to fix them, you need to elect people who have demonstrated competencies in the fields they have served in. We talk about UCC. I mean, as students, I would always rate the University of Ghana over UCC. But for a university to earn a reputation for being overly disciplined that students are literally scared, we laugh at them for being like SHS and all those things. It is because somebody is doing something right. If you look at all those things we talk about, that their grading system is high, all those things, it's because somebody was doing something right. And she was the one in the steering wheel. If she wasn't doing something right, UCC wouldn't have earned those reputations. And so if we need somebody who would deliver the administrative competence in our government, This is the character we want. We've always complained about having professional politicians and not having professionals in politics. She is the professional you need. She's the academic with demonstrable record.
And she's a
to
woman.
turn things around. And she's the woman with that record. And so let's just give Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman the nod in 2024 to help steer the affairs of this country, the administrative competence, the strategic leadership that she has demonstrated in the UCCs and all the other institutions she has served in, as Minister for Education and all those things. Those skills will be brought into the administration of the country. She's not going to sit there and say that she was merely a driver's mate. No, she's not going to say that. She's going to own it. And that is what I like about the sort of leadership you get from these people, taking responsibility. She was vice chancellor of the university. Of course, you could have said, well, I'm not a chancellor. When we sit on council, the council chair should take the responsibility. But no, she took the responsibility and delivered on the job. So she's not going to be the vice president who will later come and tell you that I was only in the driver's mate after making wanton promises. So I
see that comment really bothers you because you keep...
it's the most annoying of things. People who don't take responsibility, to say this. So I think that now is the time for us to set the record. And it's not merely about setting the record for purposes of tokenism or that we have also elected a female vice president. It's about setting the record of having professionals with demonstrable record of leadership and administration. I mean, leading a university is no joke.
Absolutely.
More so as a vice chancellor and the first woman to do that among the men who have a habit or are accustomed to having men in that position. Leading in such circumstances is not easy, and she has demonstrated that she could do it flawlessly. Now is the time for us to have such leadership in the Jubilee House, the sort of leadership that has been lacking for the past 7 years. Now is the time for us to have it.
All right, thank you so much. And now let's move away from that. The word conversations.
But just before that, I just want them to touch on this because, normally on the track term of elections, if you have a government moving into another, election term, you would normally see that the majority would, be strong and getting more seats in parliament. But for that of 2020, we just saw 137, 137. Right. Would you say that the choice of Professor Nana Jane being a running mate was also an effect to that?
Well, there are a lot of factors to consider in the effect because the NDC won a lot of seats in Greater Accra and in Central Region to balance the scale. Yes, those effects could be said to have been hard on the election. But I also think that the abysmal performance of the MPP as well between the period 2017 and 2020. I always say that those who complain about the performance of this government who voted for them in 2020 are not victims of the circumstance. They are accomplices of the circumstance because it was becoming too glaring to all of us. And if you study the electoral data, the 2020 election is one of the elections I'm most confused about because the elections follow a certain trend, depending on high turnouts and who wins and all those things. Those trends were somehow sort of broken in the 2020 election. For the first time, you have President Mahama winning Greater Accra and not winning the election. It didn't make sense. That has been the trend. The winner of Greater Accra comes to Central Region and wins the election. One Greater Accra didn't win Central. All those things didn't make sense. So I think that, yes, there may be those effects on the election, but generally, one thing is certain. The 2020 election is one of the elections that has been most, should I say, obscure in terms of even the results. The results being declared 3 different times, all of them having 3 different results and all those things. Up till now, I do not trust the results in their entirety. And I think that even the parliamentary elections, there was some level of gerrymandering of the system to favor the MPP. If not, it would have been worse. Look at Sal, for example. They don't have an MP as we speak. Everybody knows that in that constituency, if you put the ballot box today, who is going to win? It's the National Democratic Congress and not the New Patriotic Party. And so the NDC was even going to have a majority. There are some 5 seats that soldiers have to shoot and kill people.
Techiman South was one of them.
To alter the results. So I think that the 2020 election, as I said, is one of the most obscure. So going into 2024, I am very much convinced that there will be an overwhelming majority for the NDC. It will be the most shocking, the largest majority ever in the history of this country. And I'm on record. We'll come back to this video and look at it. It will be the largest majority ever delivered to a political party in the history of Ghana. And of course, the presidential election, President John Dramani Mahama is going to win that election. And clarity will be brought to the events that went on in 2020 because they will be investigated, including the shootings of citizens that occurred within that period. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about clarity, so you're definitely going to bring me back to this conversation before we move on. They've talked, I mean, there have been talks about their policies and what the 24-hour economy. There's still not clarity on that, on as to what exactly the NDC is looking at doing, even with the running mate being in the middle of, the entire conversation. We've heard the 24-hour economy being, an industrial conversation. However, we haven't seen much.
There is clarity to it. Anybody who does not understand the 24-hour economy concept so far has deliberately decided not to
So give us
understand
clarity
it,
on that.
in my view.
Okay.
Because the point is that when you take the 24-hour economy, I mean, the party has released, frequently asked questions, a file on that. The point is this. We have areas of our economy which are performing below standard and could do better if there is a government incentive to increase their production capacity. We have our manufacturing sector now performing in the negatives under President Akufo-Addo. We have a situation where we import 90% of the things we consume in this country. And so, first of all, the question whether or not there is demand for the goods that we are saying we want to increase their production of has been answered, because the demand exists, but you give the jobs to external people. Anytime I buy things that are produced in India, China, Japan, I am giving a job to a Japanese, an Indian, and a Chinese. That is the implication. The NDC is saying that to scale up the manufacturing of these things, companies which are into manufacturing will be given an incentive. The incentive includes the time of use tariff. The time of use tariff is to ensure that if you do your production into the night, how your electricity tariff is calibrated will be different from how it is calibrated in the day, which means that government is giving you an incentive to perform, i.e. reducing your cost of production in terms of electricity. That is government's intervention to ensure that your production goes into the night. So that answers the question. So anybody who says that they do not understand the 24-hour economy, what it's about and all those things, it's even funny. And taking even sectors that they claim that there's already 24-hour production. Let's take our hospitals.
Because that has come up as well.
Let's take our hospitals, for example. Do you just walk to the OPD in the night and you are taken care of? It does not exist. And so it is dishonesty on a gargantuan scale for you to tell people that there's already 24-hour economy because hospitals it is only in the extremely necessary sectors. Even emergency centers are not operating 24 hours in Ghana. You can be rushed to the hospital in the night, and they will tell you that a doctor will come in the morning.
They'll give you a referral.
Or even the referral, if you are sent to Kolobili in the night, nobody is there to take care of you. So if we run a system where there is that incentive for the doctors to work at night, because now there's a deliberate government policy to ensure that the hospital runs efficiently even into the night, then you're going to create employment for the doctor who is running away to the USA because he does not have, proper conditions over here. If there's a deliberate government, intervention to ensure that the doctor stays, then he's going to be paid properly. Those are the things we are looking at. We have our filling stations now closing very early
10 p.m.
because they are being robbed in the night. Then somebody proposes that to prevent these things and allow these, industries to thrive, we are going to provide them with security into the night so that their services can continue. Their services are necessary and needed, they can continue. Then you say that you are already doing it. Vice President Bawumia says that because you can send mobile money in the night, that's 24-hour economy. I see mobile money was not there before
with the security bit too, I want to commend our IGP now, because if you drive around, I drive very easily safe at night because everywhere you pass, you see police patrol everywhere. So again, it's a doable situation. The police is really good.
But just on the issue of policy of the NDC, John Mahama is still doing a listening tour. He does not just want to sit in the comfort of his home or his office to just say, that's what I want for Ghanaians. He's listening to what Ghanaians need and trying to tailor solutions that will help solve our homegrown problems. You get what I mean? And so if you are in what is the NDC proposing? Even the 24-hour economy, people are struggling to just deal with just that. That is a game changer. You know what I mean? There's a manifesto committee that is sitting down, going around, listening to what Ghanaians need, and putting actionable and attainable policies to be able to achieve that. And so if If you rush it, what will you gain?
Didn't we
No.
see that with Akufo-Addo as well?
You saw that with Akufo-Addo?
Yes,
No,
didn't he go
Akufo-Addo
around
did-
listening to the
Akufo-Addo
problems
didn't
of
do-
people?
Akufo-Addo
he didn't-
has never
he didn't
done
run the
any listening tour.
275
No, maybe not
constituencies in
deliberately
Ghana.
as a
He has
listening
not done-
tour, but went round to make sure to hear
no,
people
he-
out.
No,
said
no,
he
no.
visited
President
some friends and
Akufo-Addo's
families.
only going around that he did in this country was to go around and be throwing promises about. That's what he did.
And he
When
just
President
went
Mahama
around
said he
visiting
was
some friends
going
and
on a
families.
listening tour, he made it clear to everybody, sat down with the people, speak, I'm listening.
And there's a
and all those things.
laid
And
down places to visit, who
all
he's
we
engaging
saw-
with, and all the details that is coming out. Like,
I mean,
Okay,
clear.
so we've seen time without, time and time again, because now social media is very, easy to access. We have put out concerns in different governments, even in Mahama's government, about things that we were not happy about as Guineans, and we still didn't see results. Hopefully, this one breaks something, so we're going to move away from that.
Okay, next time we come on the show, you point out some of them. So that we'll be
I
able to
will, because
discuss.
I'm excited about the listening party, but then I want to be sure that we're going to get results after that. We're not just going to tell someone who later comes in and gives us a different thing. Now let's move away from that. There's a conversation on. We did hear that on the 6th of March, there's going to be simultaneously the 6th March thing happening in Koforidua, and then the commissioning of the National Cathedral. But the NDC went ahead to go and do their own thing.
Yeah.
What was the significance of that? Why did they have to do
Even
that?
have to do that in the first place?
So about some years ago, the president tells us that he has promised God something. One of the promises is to build him a cathedral if he wins the elections. And right after winning the election, there was some said state fundraising event to raise funds to finance this national cathedral, because we were promised that they were not going to touch any of our public funds. And fortunately, unfortunately, there was an expose which led to several exposés which showed that the government led by Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, and Ken Ofori-Atta have dipped their hands not just one, not just twice, but deep into our state coffers, and using that to fund the National Cathedral. That notwithstanding, if they were just using it to fund it, then we can say that, oh yeah, but they were stealing money on the side. And so, so many years ago, the finance minister stepped in Parliament and said that the National Cathedral was going to be commissioned by 6th March 2024. Thinking that 6th March 2024 would never come, God being so good, days went so fast, and 6th March 2024 came by. And so there was the need to do that just to signify that, one, you were told on several occasions, first, this is a bad policy, there's a misplaced priority, and the number of things you had to demolish on this land just to put this national cathedral on. Nobody even understands why they still went ahead to do that. Judges Complex that was newly built, not too old, was demolished. I can run you through a number of things that were Passport Secretariat head office was on that land, it was demolished. Private properties were on that land, they were all demolished just to put up a national cathedral, which the amount started from 150 million to 200 to 350, and now it's what, over $400 million. $400 million. You see, under this government, we mention monies and we think that they are small money. Like $400 million. Who are we to even be mentioning this on this platform? That is huge. You get what I mean? But there's an amount that we say we are using to build a national cathedral because we think it's going to boost tourism.
Isn't this a sign of mockery?
Mockery to who?
I mean, no. What the
NDC did?
Yeah.
What the
Mockery to who?
Yeah,
To the government.
No, we are just trying to remind the government. We told you and you didn't listen. And now you have dug the most expensive pit in the entire world. What, over 58 million? This is not even a joke, because like I engage with so many people. I engage with my American friends. I tell them, oh, we've dug a pit to do the National Cathedral, and it's worth over 58 million, and they are laughing at me. Why don't we have school children that are studying under trees? Don't you have girl child that needs sanitary products? We have so many problems in this country, and all we could do was to use 58 million.
Now when you bring those up, let me play the devil's advocate.
Okay,
and
play the devil's advocate, and we'll treat you like the devil. No, I'm just saying. I'm sorry.
Behave yourself.
You've forgotten that it is a show.
I'm so sorry.
Because very soon you will know your place in this room. So for you, and you have said that, no, it wasn't you. Okay, so another guest told us about how if the fact that you are not feeling well does not mean that you will not celebrate your birthday. And I'll relate it to the fact that we have issues in the country that look like to every individual, this one is more important than this one is more important than this. Around the world, we have seen cathedrals that have served great purposes. And so in playing the devil's advocate, don't we think that this would have been an investment that would have yielded some sort of revenue for the country, and we shouldn't outright, rule it out and make it look like it's a useless cause, even though we still have issues like beds in the hospital and stuff like that happening. But can't we start up something that would bring revenue to the country?
Revenues which would otherwise not be gotten from other profitable ventures. Is that the case?
Well, if we're not getting anything from them now.
58 permits me. Revenues which would otherwise not have been gotten from other ventures. Is that the case? $58 million couldn't have been spent on any other venture which is more profitable to the country. Let's stop the joke. The reason why I said let's stop the joke is that this National Cathedral project that you say is $58 million, and all we have now is a pit. The person must put the conversation into that perspective. If you had spent $58 million of your private money, would you have had a pit? That is the question.
That's true.
We must ask. There are pastors who were on the National Cathedral. They have built similar projects. Duncan Williams, his church buildings. What do you call it?
Eastwood and Ava.
They have built similar projects. Does it cost $58 million to just dig a pit? That is the question we should be asking. And so if you say that we could do it and still, generate revenue from it and all those things, okay, now you have spent $58 million. Where's the thing? That is the question we must be asking.
So
and that is why they left. So it is not something which was worth spending on in the first place. The reason why I say this is that what is government's motive, or what did they tell us is the reason why, apart from saying that it's President Akufo-Addo's dream. He slept, he dreamt, he told God that when he wins the presidency, he will build him a cathedral from the coffers of the people of the Republic of Ghana. Well, fair enough. He has dreamt his dream. But now the justification he told us is that, 1, it is supposed to generate revenue from tourism. 2, it is supposed to unite the people of Ghana because it's a national symbol. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Do you know the dominant religions in Ghana? 1, Christian religion, Islamic religion. And the records tell us that Islam is growing at a faster rate than Christianity. And then we have the African traditional religion. Do you know which of them is peculiar to Ghana? It's the African traditional religion, not Islam, not Christianity. The reason why the African traditional religion is peculiar to Ghana, and I'm talking about its peculiarity, is because why do people travel to go and see something? It is because the thing is peculiar or characteristic of a particular area. So I want to go and see this thing that I have never seen before. Do you think that the white man will leave Europe to come and see Togbi Agokoli or Togbi Charles Shrine? Or they will come and see a cathedral that they see every day in Europe? Which of them do you think they would want to see? I dare tell you that they will be interested in coming to see Nogoko or Antwerp than coming to see National Cathedral. That is how tourism works. People don't go and see things that they see every day. Would you want to visit your bedroom as tourist attraction? That is what you are telling people to do. That is what you are telling them to do. Because why should I leave any part of the world to come and see church in Africa? The fact that we think that this is the most sane proposition beats my imagination. It is not the most sane proposition.
Oh, but it's happening in Israel. People go to Israel
because that is characteristic to Israel. Jesus Christ was born there.
The thing here is, she's right. I mean, people move to Israel.
Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. I am saying that I would go to a place because something is characteristic to that area. It is peculiar to that place. Why would I go to Israel? Because I am told that this is where Jesus wept. Because I am told that this is where he fell on his knee on his road, on the road to Calvary. Because I am told that this is where he was crucified. Because I am told that this is where his tomb is. Because I was told that this is where he turned water into wine. I would want to go and see those places. That is how the human mind works.
Now, why would
I would why would I want to go, for example? Why would a white man tell me that? Like,
because
let me tell you the reason
why.
Anthony, listen to me. Let me tell you.
I'm listening
why don't
to
you
you
like to listen to me?
I am listening to you. Justify this to me.
Because our president has had a dream. He's the first ever president to have a dream
about building a cathedral
and make it happen.
And so people
it's a Joseph dream.
Let me tell you something. If you go to the shrines that are in Ghana, if you go to the shrines, take your time and study it. White people come there. People from other countries come there. People from other countries, even in Africa, go to those places. Go, you can't just go there. You want to go and observe.
That's why they ask
People,
you.
they go there. They go there to go and see what exactly it is the people are doing. Okay, I am telling you that Ghana has a better chance at marketing Nogoko and Antwerp as a tourist attraction than they have at marketing National Cathedral. That is what I'm telling
What
you.
if a place,
Because
what
that
if a place
is what
that
attracts
you can go and
people.
pray? What if a
You
place
have
that
a
you can
better-
go and pray?
Okay,
What if a place that you can go and pray?
But
we're asking, no, we're asking. You're in National Cathedral, you cannot go there.
I was not even able to make
Pray
my
in
second
Nogoko,
point
no.
on national unity. How do you tell me you want to foster national unity
Okay,
by
right.
spending,
Anyways.
state resources on building a monument for one of the religions to the detriment of the others? How is that fostering national unity? So the national chief imam or the traditional priest should be happy that you spend state resources in building a cathedral for the Christians at their expense when we all pay the tax. And that is national unity. These people that are governing us are simply not serious. And they are wasteful expenses. To be honest, I would be doing gross injustice to the people who are representing the people of Ghana in the ongoing All-African Games if I do not start on
that's
this.
a different conversation. You're going into a totally different conversation.
They are all about
From Cathedral, they go African Games.
But it's
It's okay.
They are essential that we talk about the wastage.
I want you and I to be on Twitter Space this week.
Yes, we need to talk about that. We will treat you to our spaces.
Anthony, you and I.
We will treat you to our spaces for that.
You and I should be on Twitter Space.
Okay, guys, thank you.
So let's wrap up this
Thank you very much for the conversation. Thank you very much for the conversation.
Thank you, Anthony, guys.
On that note,
Reginald,
on that note, we need to wrap it up right here on Lifestyle Daily, as my co-host did say. No,
I can't
we'll get you on the MX space.
The Ghanaians participating all the best. All the best.
1 minute.
No, we'll get you guys on the
We'll be on the
MX
field to
space.
support them.
We'll just give you.
by now you have given us and we
We'll
are
give
done
you on the
already.
MX spaces.
Reginald
All right.
and Anthony have done
Thank you very
great.
much.
I'll have them on Twitter Space. Are you guys going to come?
We'll have you. No, MX space. We'll have them. We'll have them.
Thank you
Anyways,
for joining us,
for
gentlemen.
over a year, Maiko.com has been partnering with local NGOs to raise funds for charitable causes that improve communities and change lives. As a social impact fundraising platform, we're amplifying our call for change and impact with amazing prizes to be won after making your donations. One, donate to support weekly cleanups at the Labadi Beach or Ahaban's mobile shelter for the less privileged for a chance to win a 2-night luxury stay at the Kempinski Hotel in Accra. Number 2, donate to renovate the NICU and maternity awards at Vakpo Medical Center or Cornerstone Primary School for a chance to win a 2-night luxury stay at the Bridgeview Resort in Akosombo, one of the finest places that Lebanon wants to visit. Donate to the Afrofuture Scholarship Fund or to renovate Anyanya JHS for the chance to win a 2-night luxury stay at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel. Go ahead and visit maiko.com and follow the easy steps to donate for your chance to win our prizes. Maiko is registered with the Ghana the National Lottery Authority, maiko.empowering society to dream big. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions definitely apply.
So if you missed the 6th of March, I'm telling you, missed a whole lot. But this time, MX24 is coming back with something even more amazing. It's MX24 and Travel with Drew. We present Easter in Ebiri. I told you this, guys. This year is enjoyment upon enjoyment. On Monday, the 1st of April, we'll be headed to the hills of Ebiri for a full day of fun, adventure, and relaxation. Starting off from Accra at 6:30 a.m., activities will include breakfast and fun at Ebiri Gardens, quad biking rally, a cinema waterfalls experience, and games at Safari Valley. The tour packages comes with transportation, breakfast, snacks, drinks, lunch, and entry fee for all activities. And I tell you, when you want to, when you make plans of going to Accra Safari, you know that Safari Valley, sorry, you know you have to do more. But we are just signing up for only 1,000 Ghana cedis per person via mx24.app/travel or send a WhatsApp message to 059-229-2746. It's 059 229-2746 to sign up now. Easter is in Ibri is brought to you in partnership with JP4 Aquaba Travels and Navigate Ghana. It's refreshed by Cheer Up Beverages, Mesto Bisab, Portions Gardens, and Ayeko Plantain Chips. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something I don't want you to miss out on
We're
at all.
having this whole package.
For just 1,000 Ghana
1,000 Ghana
cedis. Do you know how much is it to enter Safari Valley?
Hey.
Please join us. Let's have a great time. Just join us. Let's have a great time. We're moving on to something even more exciting. We're plugging, as Jay would say, into something exciting. We'll be right back after this.